Hello, little puppies. My name is Sutton, and I am at the New Jersey Sheep and Fiber Festival. It's my favorite fiber festival to go to every single year. I'm going to be interviewing some people, talking about fashion and yarn and weaving and knitting and spinning and all things fiber art adjacent. So let's go meet some friends. This event is literally a fiber art girlie's dream. And as I was doing some perusing and kissing some sheep, I wound up meeting the fabulous ladies from North Country Spinners, so let's go talk to them. I'm here with Mary Ann from North Country Spinners. Tell me a little bit about your organization.
Well, we do a little bit of everything. We are a teaching guild, so if you want to learn anything, you can come and join us. We'll teach you how to knit, crochet. We start from raw fleece, how to skirt it, clean it, wash it, spin it, and the whole kit and caboodle.
How'd you get into the world of fiber art?
A friend of mine was doing it one day, and I saw what she was doing. I said, well, that looks like fun. She brought me to one of the meetings, and I joined, and I've been here ever since. Like 2017, I want to say.
What's your primary fiber craft of choice?
I guess just the sheep and spinning that.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Oh, well, thank you.
This is Peggy. She is the OG member of the North Country Spinners. How did you get started with fiber art?
We were in the Warren County 4-H sheep club with my sons, and we were raising Dorset sheep. And they were displaying them and judging them every year at the Warren County Fair. And the leader decided that they really needed to learn how to spin so they could demonstrate what to do with their fleece. So they taught the mothers how to spin. So that was back in the 80s, 82.
Do you have any advice for people who want to get into spinning yarn?
Come to something like this. We started with our sheep, sheared them, skirted them, turned it into those fleeces over there, and learned how to spin. So you need to be familiar with the wool. You need to know what your product is that you're working with, that this is going to be yarn to knit with. And go to groups, like join the North Country Spinners or any of these guilds once a month, and you can learn, because we do classes during our meeting and things like that.
And what's your favorite kind of wool to spin with?
I raise Dorsets, but that's a tough wool to put in clothing. So I think merino, Romney is wonderful. Romney is nice for socks. Everybody says, oh, you're going to wear wool? Well, when we're spinning, we don't have all the lanolin out of this. There's still lanolin in this wool because we hand washed it. It's handled with care right from the beginning.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. This is Lynn. How did you get started with fiber arts?
When I retired, I decided I needed something to do. Now, that's been 17, almost 18 years, spinning and weaving, and I also teach weaving now. And I tat, and I knit, and I crochet, and I do all the different fiber arts. I've processed fleece. I choose not to process fleece ever again. I'd rather use my time working with it than processing and prepping it. But it's a lot of fun.
What's your favorite medium?
Depends upon the day and the weather. Spinning is my go-to. Weaving is my second go-to. Knitting is my third. I will crochet, and I love to tat. I love that.
What are you working on right now?
Right now I have some nice Romney I bought a few years ago, and I'm getting ready to finish plying so I can move on to the next project.
I need you to talk about this like bionic nitty-notty a little bit.
I'm borrowing because I did not bring mine because I didn't think I was going to get this far today. So what I'll do is I'll simply take the yarn off the bobbin and put it on the nitty-knotty into a skein so I can take it home, dip it in hot water, cold water, whack it against the siding to set the twist, and then I can dry it and use it to make something.
This is a professional nitty-knotty. I just need everyone to know. I've never seen anything like this. Well, thanks for talking to me. After chatting with the ladies of North Country Spinners, I stumbled upon some fashion girlies, so obviously I had to stop them and talk about their outfits.
My name is Chriselle. I live in Princeton.
My name is Melissa. I live also in Princeton.
Okay, bougie, Princeton. Okay. Tell me a little bit about your outfit and your fabulous top that you made.
I'm wearing the Pillars of Simplicity by Perfectly Knotted. I think her name is Claire Jackson. I don't remember the yarn, but I think it's called Sueño. It's a bamboo merino blend, and it's really comfortable. Today's a hot day. I had to wear tee.
Yeah. When did you get into fiber art?
I started knitting 2.5 years ago. It's kind of crazy to think about. I moved here to the East Coast from West Coast, so I had to start knitting because it was cold.
That's true. For warmth, for life.
We met each other through knitting, so that's great. I spotted her project bag from across the way, and I was like, I have to talk about it.
Project bags, signaling, fiber art girlies all around. You see that project bag, you go make conversation with them. Can you tell me about your fabulous shirt?
This is the Effervescent by Amy Shear. It's like a pretty popular pattern, and this yarn is actually from a local yarn shop, Wool Bearers in Mount Holly.
How'd you get started with knitting?
Also around 2.5 years ago, I actually started with crochet and then moved to knitting. That's something to do like during the pandemic. I think like a lot of people did. And I first saw knitting and I was like, I could never do that. I'll just stick with my crochet. I'll make my own magiri. Like, I'm not gonna make clothes. And then I just started. My mom taught me how to knit and I was like, this is great. And then I just kept going from there.
Thank you guys so much for talking to me. This is so much fun. I'm here with Elise, and tell me a little bit about your shirt.
Yeah, so this is the Salty Air Tee by Samantha Guerin, and I made it in fingering weight Pearl Soho linen quill.
Okay, girl. Okay, you know your stats. I love it. Do you write this all down? Do you have like a journal?
Very much into journaling and knitting journaling and all of that.
So is knitting like your favorite form of fiber art?
Yes, I am very into the fiber arts. Knitting is the number one, but definitely embroidery, needle pointing, crochet, and trying to dabble into spinning, seeing what that looks like. But yeah, knitting is definitely number one.
And then how did you get started with fiber art?
My mom is a really big crafter, so ever since my earliest memories, she tried to teach me crocheting at the beginning. That didn't take, but knitting definitely took. And then after I got into college, I really needed some stress relief, so knitting was really what I came back to.
Where do your inspirations lie?
Somewhere in between like classic pieces and trendy, something that I could just see in my wardrobe for forever and ever. So that's usually what I'm leaning towards when I'm picking patterns.
Or do you knit anything else? Or are you like a clothing girly?
Clothing girly, definitely the pullovers, getting more into cardigans and accessories all the time.
Thank you so much for talking with me. This is so cool.
After talking to the girlies, I just so happened to stumble on these two women Tunisian crocheting, and I just had to talk to them, and they run such a cool charity that all of you guys should know about.
I am talking to Mary, and she has a really cool charity that you guys should know about.
Our charity is Hugs Through Shrugs, and we send comfort wraps to mothers whose children have cancer. So we ship nationwide, and we work through a couple of hospitals. We have a website. It's hugsthroughshrugs.org. And there's information there about our comfort wraps that are basically 20-inch by 60-inch chunky knitted or crocheted fabric that people send to us, and then we lace them closed in a way where the moms can wear them like weighty ponchos.
And you also sell yarn as well?
Our hand-dyed yarn is Newport Yarn and Fibers, and they are color inspired by the Newport mansions and the strong women behind them. And with the yarn you get a card that tells the color inspiration and the story about the woman behind the mansion.
How did you get started with fiber art?
My sister and I, we run the charity together, and our grandmother taught us how to crochet, and then my sister-in-law taught me how to knit, and I taught Kath. And then we had a yarn shop in Chester, New Jersey for a number of years.
And what's your primary fiber art craft?
I knit, I spin, I dye, I weave. I have to say right now Tunisian crochet is a favorite because it's fast, it's unique, it's definitely a conversation starter.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me and sharing about your charity. Well, thank you. What's your name and where are you from?
Kathy Cummings. I'm from Flanders, New Jersey.
And what are you making today?
Well, I'm making two things. I started a new scarf because I'm doing it in Tunisian crochet. So I just thought if people wanted to try it, they could try it on the scarf. But I'm almost finished with a sweater. So it has the small sleeve, and then it's like one of those oversized with like a lot of positive ease, has a boat neck, and it's like kind of like that.
What kind of yarn?
My sister hand dyes this yarn. We have a charity, it's called Hugs Through Shrugs. The yarn line is Newport Yarn and Fiber, and she hand dyes all the yarn, and then all the profit goes to the charity. It's hugsthroughshrugs.org.
How did you get started with fiber art?
Well, when I was young, probably about 7, my grandmother taught me to crochet. Then I had my second child. I ran away to my sister's beach house and she taught me to knit, and I didn't stop knitting till that skein was gone. I have been addicted since and haven't stopped.
Knitting in a beach house, like how fabulous is that? And what's your preferred fiber art? What's your favorite?
It's hard. I have to say, because of the charity with the Tunisian, I can do an Afghan in a day. But I'm addicted to all of it. I mean, I think we all are. You know, yarn, we're all yarnies, you know.
And buying yarn is a hobby in itself, people.
It is.
Anyway.
Yes, and that's why you're here at Sheep and Wool.
After this interview, we were all chatting a little bit, and we discovered that Kathy literally taught the very first knitting class I ever went to in elementary school. Like, Kathy literally taught me how to knit. What a little small world moment.
I am here with the queen herself. I forced her to come. This is my mom. And this is your very first NJ Sheep and Wool Festival.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything fun? You can hold it.
I feel like I want to dip my toe into some crocheting now. I saw Kool-Aid dyed yarn. That was neat. Oh, the Angora rabbits. Those were so cool. So now I just need a teacher.
I guess I am that teacher. What do you think of the sheep?
I loved all the sheep. I actually loved watching they were all being judged. The judges talked out loud about what's good in a sheep and what's bad in a sheep, but I don't know any of the terms, but it was interesting.
What about all the different crafts and stuff that you've seen today? Was there anything that kind of piqued your interest?
I did they had a lot of I guess crocheted or knitted,
Afghans?
Yeah, Afghans, and those were really, really pretty, but I'm trying to pare down. I was looking for a crochet bag, and I did not see a bag that was crocheted. I saw it probably on TikTok. And they're so cool looking. I thought for sure I'd find one here, and I would have bought it.
Small businesses everywhere. We need more crochet bags, okay? You had fun?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Come to the New Jersey Sheep and Wool Festival. It's literally my favorite festival of the year. It's fabulous. It's day 2 of the New Jersey Sheep and Fiber Festival. I'm gonna talk to some more friends, and I'm gonna pet and kiss some more sheep. So let's go. Look at this sweet woman. You're so pretty with your little ribbon. I'm here with Victoria, and she has an amazing yarn brand called Vita Lifestyle. How did you get started with your brand?
I got started in 2016. I was actually working as a textile designer in Manhattan for 6 years. Then I started this on the side, just started dabbling in hand-dyed yarn and doing trunk shows. And then about 3 years ago, I decided to pursue it full time.
How did you get into fiber art?
So I've been knitting since I was 15 and crocheting since I was 8. And then I went to FIT for textile design. So I feel like that kind of kick-started my interest in the fiber arts.
What has been the most rewarding part of starting your business and going full-time with being a creative?
I think it's just the gratification of seeing it all come together. When people enjoy what I put out, it's really rewarding. Where I felt unsatisfied working for someone else and designing for someone else.
What's the hardest part of being your own boss?
I think as a small business owner, you tend to wear many hats. You have to be the finance person, the website person, the social media person. You have to really know how to do such a wide range of things.
The artist and the business person.
You really are. You have to have both sides of your mind.
What are your inspirations when you're thinking of your new collections?
We launch pre-order collections, and each one has a theme. And I pick themes that I'm just interested in. Right now we're in the middle of the coffee collection, and it's I just love coffee. If I'm just really into it, I know I could see the collection through.
I see you're wearing this beautiful sweater.
What an amazing designer.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the sweater?
Yes. So this is the Wildflower cardigan designed by yours truly.
Designed by
me. We decided to do a collaboration together for the New Jersey Sheep and Wool Festival. We're launching the collaboration online for everyone to join in on. And this beautiful cardigan Sutton designed with a granny square pattern using our New Jersey Sheep and Wool exclusive color, which is Wildflowers and Wild Horses, which is a song that I absolutely love by Lainey Wilson.
Oh yeah!
We started this collab a couple months ago. And she just designed the most amazing fall cardigan. She used some of our signature colors to go with this color. So there's pine cone, cold brew, twilight time, and strawberry cream. It's gorgeous. It just like really sets the mood for the fall and like highlights this very wildflower type of color. The pattern is out on Ravelry. And the yarn will be up on Tuesday as part of our virtual booth.
If you couldn't make it this weekend to the New Jersey Sheep and Wool Festival, this beautiful limited edition color, Wildflowers and Wild Horses, will be available on Vita Lifestyle's website from Tuesday the 17th of September to Sunday the 22nd of September. It is literally the star of the pattern that I designed. It is so beautiful. It's so fun to work with. I loved crocheting with it because I was so excited to like get to the next little morsel of color. It was really exciting to work with, and it's just such unique and beautiful yarn, so you should all buy it.
Well, after hanging out and having so much fun with Victoria, I thought, you know what? It's time to talk to some sheep farmers.
I'm with John and Diana of Hestias Homestead. How'd you get into this farming life?
We grew up in Belmar, New Jersey, and then we wind up buying a house there after we got married, and then it all started with chickens.
The gateway drug is chickens.
And then we got bees, and then once we got the bees, they were multiplying too fast, so we had to move. So we bought our farmstead in Franklinville, which is an 1880 farmhouse. That's how we started onto the new adventure with the bees, and then we looked into sheep, and then we wind up getting the Navajo Cherries because they're critically endangered.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Navajo churro sheep?
Oh, you're better at this.
You're the history guy. They were brought over in the 16th century by the Spanish conquistadors. I hate to say given, but the Navajo people took them over and been using them as their livelihood ever since. It's what they used for their weavings. They would use them as meat. They would use their milk, the intestines as strings for bows and such. So it really became a cornerstone of their life. It was such a crucial part of their life that the government used it against them. In different times throughout history, they tried to call off the population of the Navajo Cherros in order to affect the Navajo people, and it had devastating effects to the Navajo people. Such a resilient breed, and they're such a resilient people that they were able to endure that and keep pushing forward and still prosper to this day. And it's evident in how beautiful and how strong the sheep can be, as well as how strong the Navajo people are and how beautiful they are.
What moment has made you like the most proud thus far?
We had so many different milestones, like going across country to go get the sheep. Planning is always like, it's the dream, but having it in effect when you collect everything, when it comes together and falls into place, that is so satisfying, and you get so much gratification from that. But our first lambing, loved it, absolutely my favorite. But lambing every year after that, and then having our first lamb share this year, and actually feeding people what, you know, animals that we take care of, and therefore we can help supplement a good nutritional diet for you.
What has been like a difficult challenge that you guys have had to face?
Well, we did take a sheep breed that's in it from an arid climate to a very luscious and humid climate, so there was a lot of adaptation for just us and the sheep. Just getting your foothold into what parasites to look forward to, taking care of everything preemptively. Nutrition is key on the sheep, and taking care of them and buying the better of the hay in the winter and supplementing, it pays off in the long run. Your whole project is to be a steward for the animals, and you're going to do whatever it is to make sure you're taking care of them.
Do you have any advice for people who like want to get into homesteading or raising their own animals?
We're city people, basically. We had no background in this. Nobody taught us. Nobody showed us anything. We did it all on our own. Grit, basically, by reading, research, watching videos. But the most you're going to learn is hands-on. So you just have to jump into it and actually figure it out. Like, get your hands dirty. Volunteer at a local farm if you can, and actually experience what happens. Not only the good of it, the beauty of it, but you got to see the dark side of it too, because that is the unexpected challenges that nobody explains, but they're so evident and prevalent in farming that you have to be aware of those as well. Facing those, it makes the beautiful parts of it so much more luscious, so sweet. So when we have our lambing seasons, they're so much more appreciated because we've been through so much to get there.
Definitely connect with people. If you follow them on Instagram, reach out to them. Everyone is helpful. You find a subject, their subject is like bees or sheep, they will talk your ear off. If you have a question about it, we will help you, we will educate you. So our learning experiences might not be your learning experience, but it's a guideline. We're here to help. It's a community, so we would love to help everyone.
And how can people support you guys?
We're Franklinville, New Jersey in Gloucester County, where we have America's oldest sheep breed, Hestias Homestead on Instagram and hestiashomestead.com. But yes, purchasing any of our small farm products definitely supports our farm.
Thank you guys so much for talking to me. This is so great.
I mean, aren't they just the loveliest couple ever? And I am properly sweating now, so I'm headed over to my very last and very special interview of the entire Fiber Festival.
This is Anne from NJ Fiber Shed. Tell me a little bit about your organization.
Well, NJ Fiber Shed is an educational nonprofit. We're a 501c3. We are just trying to bring together fiber artists along with people who are raising fiber animals in New Jersey. Because believe it or not, we actually have a lot of sheep, bunnies, goats, and alpacas in New Jersey. And we just want people to be able to work with those fibers. People are really interested in sourcing locally these days, and it's sometimes hard to find fiber artists. So we have workshops on raising fiber animals. We have workshops on sustainable crafting, like natural dyeing or working with local materials. We have a fleece and yarn sale on October 27th in Hunterdon County, where the fiber producers and artisans can sell directly to consumers.
What inspired you to start this organization?
Fibershed.org is an organization, they're based in Northern California. The founder, she was really inspired by the slow food movement. And so she set out for a year to curate a wardrobe grown and produced, manufactured all within 500 miles of where she lived. So I was really inspired by that. The fashion industry, one of the worst polluting industries with fast fashion, and it's also the finishing, the fabric. And so I just wanted to, encourage people to think a little bit more about what they were consuming. Fiber art is something that I love, and I wanted my craft to be something that I felt good about.
And what's your primary fiber art?
Well, I raise sheep. I have a flock of Shetland sheep in Bedminster.
Farming is an art, yes.
And I use their wool to make yarn. But I also spin, I dye, I weave. I think primarily I teach. I teach weaving and I teach spinning.
And what got you started in fiber art?
Gosh, I started out as a knitter. I was in Korea and my daughter, she wanted to learn how to knit. And I had to go with her to the knitting class because we were in Korea. And she learned to knit really fast, right? I was so slow that the instructor sent me home with a video to watch, and I had to watch the video of how to cast on for 45 minutes. It was like a 10-second segment on how to do the long tail cast on, and I had to stop, rewatch, stop, rewatch.
Slow it down, 0.5.
Finally I learned, and then once I learned, I couldn't stop knitting.
How can people support this organization, and where can they find you?
We are at njfibershed.com. We have a couple different layers of membership. If you are raising fiber animals in New Jersey, you can join us as a producer member. We put you on the website, we put you on the map. We have an interactive directory where you can find producers, and you can join as an artisan. If you are a fiber artisan working in New Jersey with locally sourced materials, whether that's growing your own dye plants or working with locally sourced wool, you can join, and again, you get a listing on the website. We also have member guilds, so we list fiber arts guilds in the area, so that anyone who's in New Jersey looking for a weaving guild can find the guild that's near them. And you can also join as a community supporter. That's just to let us know that you're supporting our mission. There's no geographic restriction for that, but you get our newsletter and you get discount pricing on our workshops and our events.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. The show has come to a conclusion, and I am just so happy that I met so many people. I heard so many people's stories about how they got into fiber art and farming, and I got to talk to so many really cool people who love sheep and love yarn. Two of my favorite topics to talk about. I'm just so happy that we got to hear and share so many people's stories. So make sure to like this video, subscribe, and make sure to check out the description of this video because I'm going to be linking every single farm and person that I've talked to down below.